It was that overconfidence that I had that I timed this to the T, and then the device said, your device is not connected. And I'm like, what is going on? Hello. And then magically it popped. So good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, Jess. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing okay, doing okay. Crazy morning, but we're here to this is why we play the game. This is why we play the game. Um, I want to say this. I want to start off, and I
What's up?
don't normally do this. I'm full transparency here. I don't normally listen to the episodes after they air.
Okay.
They're live. We have a conversation, and then the mic drops, and I'm on to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, in my feed, episode 65 showed up, and it was a
Okay.
solo act I did yesterday.
Oh, I caught a little bit of that.
Man, that was fire. I
You
was
did
like,
good.
I was surprised. I was like,
You did. You did
man.
good. You were going.
And
You felt what you were saying.
100%, 100%. I feel like life is a mathematical equation. We just need to know what the variables are and the fixed and the permanent things that we want in our lives, and we can kind of map this all out. I think there's a lot of distraction that goes on in the world, and the nonsense, as I call it, will carry you into things that ultimately don't matter, and you don't stay focused on the eye on the prize. And I hope that this platform today, as we talk about something that's really near and dear to my heart, we can kind of focus on staying focused on what the bottom line is.
Ooh, the bottom line. Good turn of phrase.
Thank you. But it was funny. I was watching my phone this morning, and Tony Robbins popped up. He's on my feed, and he was talking about, you know, with that big voice, 6'7", bear paws. He doesn't even have hands; he has paws. And he was like, if you had $1 million 35 years ago, it'd be worth $26 million today. And it sounds amazing. Oh yeah, just a mil turns to 26. The power of, just multiplication and exponential growth. But it's like, well, how do we get to a million?
Right.
How do we get there? What are we supposed to be doing? And I think hopefully today, when we talk about investing, this is one of the avenues. And I'm a big believer, folks that are listening to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Welcome. This is going to be a great hour long with Jess. We're talking about real estate investing. It's not for everyone, but it is for everyone. It's kind of one of those two-folded phrases, I should say. For people that have they're not risk adverse, this might be a great opportunity for you. People that have risk or have fear of risk, this might not be for you, but it's just concepts, strategies that you could implement in your life. And let's just take it from there. So I thought just the best way to kind of flow with this was to say one thing. Let's take a 24-year-old.
Okay.
24-year-old graduates college. Brr, 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 brr. We'll even
Got
say
it.
he went to Big Blue.
Oh my God. Go blue.
Okay.
So he must be real smart.
I don't know how much you heard yesterday, but I was talking about I've been on a huge nosedive rabbit hole into Oz Perlman, the mentalist.
Oh, really?
I
Is
I
that why
I
you so inspired this morning?
man, I am fired up. You know what? I,
Oh,
I love
afternoon.
I love magic. I've
I
always
love
loved
magic too.
I love magic. I'm a huge David Blaine. I got David Blaine DVDs.
My friends make fun of me, but whatever. Magic is so cool.
Yes, yes. I love that stuff. I love stand-up comedians. So I love that can hold the room, an orator, a great orator. And that's truly what comedians, magicians are. So yeah, and Oz Perlman went to Michigan.
Oh, I did not know that.
There you go.
Hmm.
There you go. So yes, no, I am definitely inspired and fired up by just watching him and just what he does and just his intense nature. But let's take a 24-year-old graduates college. They went to Big Blue, and what should they be doing first? Right there.
Wait, what year did they graduate college?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
that matters, man.
You're gonna make excuses already? We're gonna start
Listen,
making
the year I
excuses.
graduated and this year are very different. So give me a year, because I got to know what climate we're living in.
This is true. I'll go with this true statement. Let's go right now. Let's go
Okay,
2025
2025.
graduate. Congratulations. You are out of college. What should you be doing? Day one.
Well, are we coming out of undergrad or master's degree? It
OMG.
matters. The nuance matters.
The onions. We continue to layer back and forth. Okay. So we're an undergraduate.
Oh, okay.
We don't really care for school. We went to school because we were smart enough, and that's what my parents expected of us to do. We graduate. We graduated with no sight of wanting to go back to school.
Okay, cool. All right, 24 just graduated. So they went to, U of M, so they're no dummy.
Engineer. We want to say engineer.
We'll say engineer. Cool, because engineers, I love the way their minds tick. All right, so they are at a point in life where they still don't have a fully formed frontal lobe, so they're going to be okay with taking some risk. If I was 24, knowing what I know now, I would be finding my first investment property.
Okay.
But,
So are we
oh,
living at moms and dads?
oh, of course. In
Okay. So
20,
we're not renting.
absolutely. No, no. Unless they're making us pay a little bit of rent, no, we're living with family realistically. And we're coming up with a plan to not only for our future, but our future down the road, but immediate future. Like, hey, I don't want to live with my mom and dad until I'm 30.
Mm. You know what was interesting, and once again, I would have to fact check this, but they say the average rent is 2,100 a month.
That sounds pretty close. I mean, it sounds
Yee,
pretty cheap too. Yeah,
yee,
it.
2,100 a month
Hmm.
paying rent. So yes, I definitely want to live in mom's basement.
Absolutely, you
So
do.
I'm okay. Now,
I
go ahead, go ahead.
the thought of giving someone else just over $25,000 to have nothing to show for it makes me real sad.
It's a legal theft. I'm going
I
to
like that.
legally steal from you.
Yep,
and you
I
going
like
and
it.
you and you're gonna like it. Okay. So 2,100 a month in rent, or stay in my mom's basement, live underneath her rules. I'm gonna stay there in mom's basement. And you say we should get our first investment property.
Yeah, we should at
Now,
least start learning about it. I mean, we should buy, maybe a book first. I think you'll recommend a good one later in the show. But yeah, we need to start learning about it.
I agree with that. It's funny because I always talk about this, and you probably did not have the same sentiment, but when I graduated college, I was like, yes, no more school. I don't need to read anymore. I'm good. I'm good, right? I don't have to read anymore.
That
I
was
didn't
my thought graduating high school. And then I went, dang it, college. Okay, let's do this.
so did not realize that, college really what it does is prepare you to self-study.
Yeah, and it
That you
teaches you to be social. Like the real stuff comes after graduation.
correct. But I mean, to some degree, from the college experience, I should have a skill set to self-study now. I should be able
Hmm.
to know how to self-learn, to self-teach myself. And that's really the development, through the college years, as you have semesters, as you have what's that? Oh my gosh, what do you get at the beginning of the school year or at the beginning of a semester? I want to say curriculum, but it's not curriculum, but
What
a
your what a class schedule?
like it gives you the whole storyline of what you're going to be doing in the class.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. It's the curriculum.
Okay, it's another word I'm thinking of, but it gives you like, oh my god, I'm lost. It's been a while. It's been a while. Let me just say that it's been man, we're over 20 years since I've been in college, so it's kind of crazy. But it's one of those. They give you the kind of the curriculum or what your expectations are. It starts with a D, I think. Gosh, I can't think of it.
Let it
And then
go.
you
It'll come back to you.
right, and then you have to do a paper or something like that. Did someone guess it? Is that there?
Is there some? Is it in there?
Synopsis, not a synopsis. Appreciate that. It's like it's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, you go to college. They give you go in your first semester, and they give you
Oh,
kind
you're
of
talking about a syllabus.
syllabus.
That's what. Yeah. Okay.
Thank
It
you.
starts with a D. What?
Whoa, little off. Little off. Syllabus. Thank you.
Syllabus.
Syllabus.
Okay.
Hey, Dillibus. Dillibus. There you
Okay.
go. Okay.
Move on.
Okay. So you have a syllabus, and I don't even know where I was going with that because I was so stumped on that word. Um, but she helped. Thank you for helping because you synopsis, syllabus. All right, we got it. All right. So anyway, where was I going with that? Because we're in college
Carmelo
now.
87 in the chat jogged my memory.
Well, appreciate you. Appreciate you. What did she write again? That's what I was
Synopsis,
thinking.
and I was like, oh, they were getting closer.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you for that. No, I appreciate the help. So yeah, so a syllabus, kind of gives you, hey, what you're going to expect throughout the course of the semester and what you're supposed to do. It's the self-study that you learn in college that gets you, hopefully, when you graduate college, now you're entering the real world and you take those skills and you have to apply them now. So you have to self-study and prepare. So to your point, Jess, I agree with you. We need to be studying. We need to be studying. And we need to really understand that, the 2 billion years the earth has been on, the exponential growth has either been, in stocks or in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the major two. Also people, there's other multipliers, but that's another topic for another day. But for right now, those are the main components. So if you decide on real estate, you're studying, you're at your mom's house, you're building. Now, in Chicago, which is a little bit different from Michigan, Detroit to be example,
Thank you.
uh, we have a lot of multi-unit buildings here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot of multi-unit buildings?
We have a lot of multi-unit buildings. I can confidently say we have more single family, but we're not lacking multi-units around here.
So what we have shared with an idea, here's one concept. The first property that you buy is a multi-unit building,
Ooh, I
pre-
know where you're going with this.
preferably 3 or 4 units.
Yep.
You live in one of the units and you rent out the other. You
Mm-hmm.
become a landlord. You get familiar with understanding the building. How are the pipes? Low water pressure when it's wintertime. You understand, the furnace may kick out. You got to just kick on it. The door doesn't, the door's jammed. No, it's not jammed. You just got to lift it up a little bit and squeeze, and then you can turn it and get into the door. So you have a familiarity of the building, and that will make you a stronger candidate to be a landlord when you decide to move out.
Buying a multi-unit is like, I don't know. I feel like it's almost like opening up the fire hose, the fire hydrant, the hydrant. That's it, fire hydrant, right? Because let's say it is a 4 unit. Well, now you're managing 4 units, the one you live in and the other three, or
Correct.
if it's a 3 unit, right? So instead of having just one set of experiences, I'm not going to be negative, experiences to learn from, you're learning from 2 to 3 at a time.
Correct. It positions you to buy that 4 unit building. Let's start with a 4 unit. It
Okay.
positions you to buy a 4 unit with 3.5% down. 3.5% down through an FHA loan. So boom, boom, boom. Congratulations, you have a 4 unit building. Let's say 450,000 roughly. Let's
Okay.
say roughly with tax and insurance included, your mortgage payment, and you can do it if you got a calculator by you. I don't have it with me. Roughly around a $3,800 payment.
All right. So we got a $3,800 payment for all 4 units, right?
That is correct.
Cool. Got it.
We're imagining 3 to 1 on a 450. You're probably going to find probably 2 bed, 1 bath on 1 unit, and then probably 3-in-1s on the other 3 units.
Mm-hmm.
So 3-in-1, let's just say you can, and I'm going to be conservative just to keep it simple math, 1,500.
Okay.
You're single, ready to mingle. So you're going to stay in the 2-in-1 and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
rent out the other 3. So that's 15, 15, 15. I can do quick math. Is that 4,500?
It is.
Mentalists, circle it back. So we have $4,500. Our mortgage is $3,800. we have a cash flow. The difference between how much you're receiving versus what the mortgage payment is what is called cash flow.
So
We
we got
have
a $700 cash flow.
that is correct. And we're also living rent free.
We are living rent free because they are paying our mortgage.
Facts. So here we are, 3.5% in. So we stayed with mom in the basement in order to accumulate, hey, if mom, hey, we got to take care of mom, right? We got to throw her
Of course.
$500. 500, $800. Make sure, hey, I know I need you to make sure you get me the gummy bears that I always like, mom. I want the Haribos. Make sure you got the cinnamon raisin bread, because I have to eat that in the morning.
You know this is a 24-year-old, right?
We don't eat cinnamon raisin bread?
Cinnamon raisin bread, yeah, but not gummy bears in the morning.
I'm
You know what? Right.
24.
They don't have a fully formed frontal lobe. I forgot. Maybe
Come
they
on,
are
we're
eating gummy bears in the
24.
morning. Yep,
Gummy
you're right.
bears, raisin bread. Let's go. I don't know where you were. I was a brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart guy. So
Ooh,
I'm just
those are my least favorite. They
I
were
had
just so sweet.
man, my grandmother and my godmother, no, not my godmother, but my grandmother and her best friend would send me care packages. I would get boxes at school and they'd be like, dang, what they hook you up? I would have oatmeal raisin, which are
Mhm.
my favorite cookies in the world. Soft. They gotta be soft. I don't like anything crunchy in my mouth. I
No,
got
nobody wants that.
everything's gotta be soft. So we had oatmeal raisin cookies and we had brown sugar cinnamon Pop Tarts. I could stack up a whole window of just boxes of brown sugar cinnamon. That was my morning. You got to microwave it though. That was the trick.
Well, yeah, you gotta warm. They were just still too much. I wasn't a fan. It's nice they sent you care packages though. My mom sent care packages to my friends.
Well, I'll
Moms are
just say
never done trying to make you tough.
they loved me. Okay, I was loved,
You
but
were.
yeah. So I mean, so basically, we get the 4-unit building and we're moving. Now, what we can do the next, part of the strategy, because you can't stop with one. And that's kind of what we talked about yesterday. You really can't just stop with one. A lot of people, they get so excited. I want to be a real estate investor. I want to do it. And they get one and then they stop. And it's like, there's really no money there. There's not, this is just the launching pad for something else. If you
Right,
have the
absolutely.
4-unit, you can potentially, the next buy could be a 2-unit
Yeah, you
or
can
a
move
single
down.
family.
Yep.
Because it makes sense based on square footage of your unit. So if I'm in the 2-unit, the 2-bed, 1-bath unit, and let's say my unit is the smallest in the 4-unit, and let's say it's anywhere from 800 to 1,200 square feet,
Mhm.
I can make a plausible presentation to an underwriter that a 2-unit building, which gives me now a 3-bed, 1-bath, is a bigger square footage, might be in a better area, might also be closer to my job, and I could buy that next 2-unit with 5% down and go conventional.
Mhm.
So in a little bit of, let's say, 5 years. So I'm 29 years old
Okay.
and I have a 4-unit building,
Mhm.
I have a 2-unit building,
Yep.
and now I can go ahead after 5 years I have these two. Let's fast forward another 5 years. I'm 34 years old. I have a girlfriend now.
And you have the same 6 doors?
I got 6 doors,
Same 6 doors. Okay.
but now I decided I'm going to buy a house.
For a primary for yourself?
A primary for myself. I've been staying in the 2-unit spot, but my future fiance, man, I think I like her now. She's not really feeling that we're sharing this wall with this other guy. She's not really comfortable because she's ready to go to the next level,
So you go buy a new one.
and the clock is ticking.
Mhm.
And so when I know the clock is ticking because I'm getting that pressure, I remember I like to play games a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm going to tell you a story.
Not at all shocked.
I bought a ring for my wife
Okay.
in February. I did not give it to her until July.
Okay.
She was tearing up my house. Little did I know, trying to find it. Couldn't find it. I invited her to Mexico. I invited her to Mexico on a trip
Hmm.
where I already had it planned out that I was going to propose in Mexico. But she was going to take the trip and then she was going to break up with me because she's like, I've been with this dude for 6 years and ain't nothing popped off.
She going on that trip.
She was going to go on that trip. And so, when we had the heart to heart to say, I was breaking up with you. I was like, for real? She's like, I looked around and you didn't have anything.
Magical hiding spots.
Man, I'm a magician.
Right?
Circling it back, baby. So this is true story. So basically, with going to get married, 34 years old. Now, all of a sudden, I own a single family house. Okay. And with that single family house, I put 5% down again, conventional. I now own a single family house, a 2-flat, a 4-unit. So I have 6 doors of rent coming to me. I have a single family home. And now I've only put down 13.5% down.
Altogether.
Altogether.
Yep.
This is the true definition of house hacking, in my estimation, because the reality is 20%, which is required down payment for buying an investment property nowadays, is almost hard to imagine obtaining to. It would take too long. People are impatient. It's like, I want to get into real estate, but how do I do it? Oh my God.
Especially if you're trying to save 20% for, what was our first purchase? 400?
450.
450. So yeah, if you're trying to save 20% for 450, especially, right? We said this was 2025 originally. It's hard to save that much.
I mean, what is that? 90,000?
90.
So
who's saving 90 at 25 years old in this economy?
If you have disposable income, let's say you disposable income, obviously, just in case people don't know, hey, what is that disposable income? If you have profit minus your assets minus liability is net worth. But no, if you have, let's say you make $3,000 a month and you have $2,000 in bills, you have a $1,000 disposable income. If you took all your disposable income and put it just away into a savings account, $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year. Quick math, that's going to be about 7.5 years
before you can save it. Yeah.
Before you can save
Where
it. Who's waiting that long?
Right. By then, my goals have changed. I figured out something else. Trying to get into real estate is not where it's at anymore. It's too hard to save. But
Correct.
Yeah, moving into something with 3.5% down to start.
So that's where I'm saying house hacking has to become the priority, and it has to become the way we use, the ability of the primary residence and converting primary residence into investment properties in order for you to grow and at least start into the masses. Okay. So, I mean, all the sexy stuff of BRRRR and short-term rental, and we're going to talk about that. But I mean, it's just important to note that in today's society, house hacking has to be the way that you enter into the realm. Because the price point has pushed us in that format. The price point, because things aren't $70,000, right? Back in the 1970s, 1980s, you can look it up. Prices were 70,000, 80,000.
Well, and the ones that are, right, like, so if we're looking at Detroit as a real world example, one of my investors pulled 20 grand out of his pocket yesterday and bought a house, right? 60 the week before. But cash, number one, right?
Facts.
Because loans that small are way too hard. And two, they didn't just buy a house for 20 grand. He didn't just buy a house for 60 grand because it's a reason it costs that little. So now he's got to rehab them.
Yeah.
And in 20 grand, you're probably ripping the home down to the studs,
Oh, no doubt. I
right?
mean,
So throw another, what, 30, 40 grand, depending on how big it is.
correct. There is opportunities out there, and I always, until I'm blue in the face, I always talk about my one investor, as that, people that have listened to the show know, you know, she found a property for 130,000, needed 70K worth of work, and she sold it just a couple months ago for 375,000, made $175,000. Those are always some great opportunities out there. Not to say they're not out there. It's just hard. It's just hard to
Yeah,
find them.
it's definitely harder. My guy
But
he's successful. He's about to get his fourth door, and we're also talking about doing a fifth simultaneously. It's
correct.
just more power to him. Like that takes a lot of effort, a lot of work.
Right, but the key thing for my one investor, even if you're buying 130,000, 20% down is 26
Hmm.
plus closing costs. You're at probably about 35. So if you're at 35,000, where do you have that money? So most people don't have the $35,000, and that's
Right.
why I'm encouraging the young folks, the Gen Zs out there, and the later the I don't even know how to say it, but anyone from the 24 years old to probably 35 years old, let's just give it an 11-year time frame. I'm encouraging them to use the primary residence to house hack, to get into the game as a first-time home buyer, establish your nature. And then what I would encourage you to do is, because you're walking in, you got it for little down, which is great, but now the issue is you don't have a lot of equity. So
Right.
you can't really, there ain't no
You
real
can't pull
movement.
cash out of it.
100%. So
Yeah.
so that's where episode 65, make sure you listen to it, talks about the term and really being aggressive to understanding what a 30-year term is, understanding what a 300-year term is, 300-year, 300-month term is, 240, 180, and 120. You have to understand what the terms are. You have to understand what principal payments are, and you really have to be aggressive on your principal payments.
Right.
If you're aggressive on your principal payments, if you have that loan amortization schedule. Now, what is news, just recent, I don't know if it's always been like this, but at least recently, all lenders provide the loan amortization schedule, at your
Oh
closing.
yeah. I've been in what, 16 years, and we've always given an AM schedule.
So you have the capability of just, looking at that package that you get at the closing and saying, actually, open it up. We usually give manila folders here. So you get a
Yeah.
manila folder with a bunch
Yeah,
of,
it's like a white envelope here. It's
yes.
real big. Yeah. But nobody looks at that. And I don't know
No,
too many loan officers that bother to explain it.
I know.
That's
Actually,
something.
hey,
Fundamentals.
fundamentals are key, but I'll give a shout out. I don't even remember her name, but it was an attorney. I
Hmm.
sat there as a young, probably at the time frame, this is I probably was 32, sat at a closing when I used to go, sat
Hmm.
at the closing, and I was like, and she broke it down. She was explaining to the clients, hey, this is a loan amortization schedule. This is what you need to do so you can actually pay this off. And I was sitting there like mouth drop, like, wow, are you for real? Man, can you show me? I never learned that. I didn't know. You
Oh,
know,
you know what? At the time you came into the industry versus when I came in, I could see that, just because I came in at a point where, like, it was literally the first year of the new regulations,
mm,
2010. So yeah, I can see where we would have learned that differently.
yeah, 2002, man, that wasn't a thing.
That was
Mm,
not a thing.
that's
That
not a
wasn't
thing.
the goal. Wasn't even to teach people how to pay off their mortgages at that point.
No, let me give you this arm and we'll refinance you later. Crazy. But yeah, no, so it's definitely, house hack is one of the things that I want people to really be mindful of. Get in as a primary residence. And then once you get in as the primary residence, attack the term, attack the principal payments, really look at this loan amortization schedule. Once you're able to do that, once you have the ability to do that, you will gain equity and then you can play the game. You can't play the game just buying. That's
No.
just half of the game. You play the game once you have the equity. Now you can play. Now you can play the game. And and I think the biggest thing that I would say is patience. We have
Oh
to have
yeah.
patience. Like it's, no matter, yes, we all want to be successful, and we all have our own definition of success. We all want to be millionaires or close to it or just comfortable. Maybe we don't have a designated number, but we just want to be comfortable. But that comfortability is probably somewhere in the, 7-digit category. But the reality is you have to be patient. It takes time. These are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30-year strategies. This
Yeah.
is the 10,000 hours, the 40,000 hour mindset of putting the time in, understanding the craft, finding opportunities that fit you, and being the best you can.
And that's not to say that you're not going to reap the benefits over time. But if we're talking about a goal number, right, depending on what that
Correct.
is, absolutely.
And the reason why I bring up that, and I going back to the investor that had success in the business, the reason why she was able to obtain that is the first step of that whole, first step is the mindset, right?
Hmm.
You have to have the mindset that this is doable, this is possible. But the next thing is, where's the 35,000 going to come from? Well, it came from a line of credit that we created. For her, she had equity.
Right.
So, so it depends on who I'm speaking to. If I'm speaking to a college graduate, we're just, hey, let's buy this primary house in a good neighborhood because it's easier to rent in a better location.
Hmm.
Make sure we're not getting a 2-bed, 1-bath. Make sure we get a 2 and 2 because it's easier.
Easier to rent.
100%.
Yeah.
So those are the types of conversations I'm having on the youth. But if I have someone that owns a house, then hey, let's look at the equity. Okay, we don't really have a lot of equity right here. The estimates here, you're getting closer. And I have these conversations where I'm like, all right, we got to attack that principal, man. Have you looked at the loan amortization schedule? Find that and send that back to me because we got to attack that better. We really have to attack and try to create the equity. Now, equity has been a blessing over the last 5 years. It's just came to us based on just, the market going
The
crazy.
market, yeah, post COVID or the tail end of it really shot things up.
So
You
it
know
it
what?
has helped.
It I'm very surprised that I don't hear more people or more LOs suggest the biweekly payment method.
I've done it actually individually. I personally did it for a minute there. It was
How do you feel
cool.
about it?
I did it. What I stopped doing it for some. I think I stopped doing it on a refinance, but I did it for a second. I mean, it was cool. I mean, it just depends on, once again, it depends on how you get paid and how much you get paid because I mean, you're basically cutting it in half and you're every other week. So you're actually making 13 payments versus 12 payments in theory because
Right.
you're
In
cutting it in
theory, you're
half.
shaving like
7 years.
7, 8 years, so 25 to like 30% off the loan.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's cool. I mean, I did it. I just, it's something to do. I mean,
It's a way.
it's a way. Or
Yeah.
some people take their tax refunds, right? If
And put it
if
all,
you
yeah.
correct, if you do get a tax refund nowadays, my goodness,
And I haven't had one since college.
I don't even know what it looked like. But
Right.
but if you do get a tax refund, I mean, that's another way. I mean, some people use the tax refund as a down payment. I'm ready to buy, Dante. Why? Well, I got my tax refund. I'm ready to go. Others may, who have a home, take that tax refund. Don't go to Bennigan's, but actually go put that towards. Man, I'm
They
dating
had
myself.
great potato skins.
Man, they had
Like,
fire hot wings. Hot wings
oh
were
yeah.
fire.
Oh, Bennigan's.
Come on.
Do you guys don't still have those, do you?
No,
No,
I
yeah.
love that place.
Closest thing we got is Fridays, and it's like a club every day, and the food is small. It's not the same.
No, no, yeah, Applebee's and Fridays, I stay away from. I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm not
not
there.
it's not worth it.
No, but I'll go to IHOP any time of the day.
Oh, see, I'm not a pancake kid,
What
so
is wrong with you?
I like waffles, man.
They got waffles?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
My goodness. You know what? I'm gonna say something, and I know you're not gonna like it, but
Here
it's
we go.
cinnamon roll pancakes.
Oh, I mean, okay. That's a little
Man,
different. Like
too sweet for you.
that's
Probably too
probably
sweet.
first of all, it's probably delicious. But yes, I could probably only eat like 3 bites because I have a grown-up palate.
Man, I'm still a kid. I'm Peter
That's okay. Hey,
Pan.
Keep that as long as you can.
Man, I'm trying to hold on. I'm trying to hold on. These youngsters though out there make me feel like it's never in the moment. Like when I'm playing sports, I can adrenaline is the best known drug there is, right?
Oh, for sure.
And I can turn it on and I'm competing at a level, where I can hold my own. But then it's after the game when the adrenaline wears off and the aches and pain really do come.
Yeah.
And man, I'm like 60 years old. I'm like, dang,
And you say things like youngsters. Me.
youngsters.
That
Those
doesn't
youngsters got me.
help.
They got me. They got me. So, so let's get into it. That's what I would do for a youngster. That, when I'm thinking of someone, from 24 years old to 35, focus on the primary house hack it that way, and don't fall in love with a location. Be willing to move. Be willing to
Right.
relocate. It's just a place where you put your head down, and then once you're able to, start building up the doors, right? Because like you said, I love doors as an example. You just want to build up the doors. How much money are you getting per door? That is the key, and then that's how you start a real estate portfolio.
You want to talk about the after the housekeeping update? You want to talk about the three types of rentals?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
And then also too, I want to bring up those 8 Ds that I brought up yesterday. I
Oh,
wanted to see what you thought about those. But yes, housekeeping notes. This episode today is sponsored by Epic Mortgage, where you're buying, refinancing, investing. Call Epic today. That's 708-905-5300. That's 708-905-5300. Jess, where do they get a hold of you?
all right. Putting my info in the chat as usual. Click on that link tree and it will take you to all things Just Forward. You can find me on Instagram at jforward_consulting. All of my contact information is also in that link tree link.
Outstanding. Now, after the show, if you are on LinkedIn, if you are on Facebook, we definitely want you to go check out Epic Spotlight on YouTube. Check out Epic Spotlight on YouTube. We have our most recent episode, Epic Spotlight podcast of Latasha Sanders. Latasha is a author, entrepreneur, union business agent, and a community champion. As she shares her powerful journey from the back of a garbage truck in Chicago to uplifting others through her best-selling children's book, Miracle Mommy on the Big Blue Truck. Discover how Latasha turned adversity into empowerment, embraced her purpose through faith, broke gender barriers, and is now making a difference for women and youth with practical wisdom and spiritual insight. Hear her behind the scenes stories, advice for young people starting out, and exciting news about her upcoming projects. Really had fun with Latasha. She's a great person, great heart, and she's doing all the right things. So happy to know her I would say, as a friend, as a client. And so definitely, when you have an opportunity, check out the Latasha Sanders Epic Spotlight podcast. Now we do have
Awesome.
some. Yeah, check that out. It was pretty
I
cool.
will.
Big Mommy, what is that called again? It was Miracle Mommy on the Big Blue Truck. She wrote her first book, and she has others planned, so it's pretty neat. Now, in the chat, let me put this in the chat. I always wait to the last minute, Dante.
Is it your book? Because I got you.
No, it's not my book,
Well, I'm putting the
but
book in there
we
anyway.
can talk about the book. I mean, obviously, in my opinion, in my biased opinion, Christmas for people that celebrate, and Hanukkah, that's probably going on now. I'm not sure of the dates. Kwanzaa, however you want to get down. Uh, December is a month of celebration of family. And if you want to inspire them and not just give them some type of materialistic thing that's not going to give you any value, then check out the book, The Ultimate Mortgage Guide. The Ultimate Mortgage Guide is a playbook, a step-by-step playbook on how to really create wealth through your house. It gives you information that you can ask any loan officer. And that's super cool because, obviously, going on the YouTube waves, going on the Facebook waves and LinkedIn waves, I don't know where you live. I don't know where you are. You might be in Pittsburgh, right? You might be in New York. You might be in New Jersey. You might be in Alaska for all I know. And guess what? I'm not licensed to do business in some of those locations. Some of them I am. Some of them are not. So the Ultimate Mortgage Guide is a great opportunity for you to learn the knowledge, ask the right questions so you can find the right loan officer that's going to do the best thing for you. Not every loan officer is the same, and you really have to find someone that connects with you and speaks your same language. That's so important. because we're trying to build this financial team, right? As a consumer, we want to have people that are going to support our ideas, give us good information, and be able to execute our dreams and our goals so we can get to where we're trying to go. And so knowing this information in the Ultimate Mortgage Guide will allow you to have the right questions to ask your future loan officer and see if that's the person that you really should be working with. Don't just go with what the realtor tells you. Go with someone that you say, hey, we speak the same language. How you like that?
Hey, off the top of the dome, I like that. That was good.
Dropping bars
Look
today.
at you little marketing genius.
Bars, dropping bars. And yes, I dropped in the chat. This is DanteRoyster.com is the website. This allows you to go there to check out our preferred listings. We have preferred listings that we offer. Now, what are preferred listings? Preferred listings are listings that we have available because we know the listing agent. And that means that when they see that golden pre-approval and they see a pre-approval from us, you might have a good chance of getting your offer accepted versus somebody else because they know, hey, that Epic Mortgage is actually going to close that deal because they said they would. So that's why we have it. We have a preferred listing, up to 14 listings right now in Maryland, Texas, Chicago, Florida. So we are expanding our horizons, trying to get into the Michigan area. So hopefully we'll get some Michigan listings coming up. But definitely go to DanteRoyster.com, check out our listings, see if any of those houses would be good for you, a friend, or a family, and make sure you share this information and get that to them. We would appreciate it. All right, and before we start asking questions or answering questions, I should say, we had wanted to bring up BRRRR, right? We have BRRRR is the first one you wanted to talk about.
It's the first on the list, so let's do it. Makes sense, and then we'll try to finish off with the 3 types of rentals.
Buy, renovate, refinance, rent, or rent and then refinance.
Right. So renovate, rehab, rent, refi, repeat.
And repeat. Yeah, most lenders will require the property to be rented before they'll allow you to close. They will not allow you to refinance a vacant unit. There are a couple lenders that will allow you to do that, and we do have access to them. So one question that even Jess asked me, like, hey, what's your go-to lender, let's say in the investment world? And I really don't have one because it depends on the scenario. I need
Oh,
to
is that
know
why you didn't answer my question?
100%. See,
Okay.
I always see you. I was like,
I felt so ignored. First we didn't talk, then you didn't text me back. I'm like, oh man, this guy's slipping.
I saw it and I was like, well, it's a long answer, but I'll just hold that and we'll bring it to today. But yes, that's the reason why. It really depends. Is the property vacant? What's the DSCR ratio? DSCR is debt service coverage ratio. So is it at 1.25, which opens up the door to many people? Is it at 1? Is it at 0.75? Do we need interest only? Do we need a 40-year mortgage? I mean, there's a lot of flexibility that we can do, but I need to know more about the scenario. What's the credit score? Because that will dictate things. Ideally, we want to see a credit score of 650 or higher. But can we get exceptions? Yes, I got a 640 just recently approved as an exception. So I'm working a 640 fix and flip refinance that we're able to pay off we can pay off real estate taxes, but we can't pay off personal debt. So if you have an IRS tax lien, I can't pay that off. But if you owe taxes on the property, I can't take care of that. But it really just depends on the scenario before I can choose which one to go with. But when we're talking strategy in the BRRRR method, you can start a project of buying something, renovating it. We're going to want to know about ARV, which is the after repair value.
After repair value.
So, the one thing is the after repair value is so important because we want to make sure that we're lending on something that gives us equity. We don't want to lend on something and just kind of put makeup on a pig. It's still a pig. So
I
that's
was
important.
actually dealing with that scenario right now. And I love how you point out it's all about the nuances. But I'm actually dealing with one of those scenarios right now. I have a borrower who really believes in buying this 4 unit. and the city has knocked down the rest of the 4 units around it. So there are no comps for over 3 miles.
Mm,
The numbers just aren't gonna work unless we build a couple more 4 units across the street,
there you go.
and it is when we look at the numbers, um, we determined that it was a very emotional decision they were going after.
It's tough.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
It doesn't. No matter how much, because you want it, right? I mean, you have the gumption in your mind to like, I want to be a real estate investor. I want to do this. I want to fix and flip. And then you see a property that fits your budget and you get so excited. You're like, this is the one. And then everyone around you saying, it's not the one.
Right.
There's
Yep.
no high value. It's like, what do you mean? And it's emotional.
It is. And
You
there's
know, we really have to allow the numbers.
oh no.
Yes.
Is it okay? No, we're good. I thought we were doing it again. Okay. I was like, oh God, because you sounded like a computer for just a second. I was like, here we go. um anyway, so in that, right, we have to choose, people have to choose what strategy is right for them, whether it's flipping or the buy and hold,
Correct.
right? And there are pros and cons to each. So just so the audience knows, flipping is renovating, turning it over quickly, right? Um, buy and hold is exactly what it sounds like. You buy it, it may need to be renovated. You do the work and then you keep it and then you become a landlord. The idea is to create passive income. But there are pros and cons to each.
There is. I would say flipping is a job.
Flipping is a job. But okay, I feel like flipping is like all right. Flipping is like a blue collar job where you go in and you work hard all the time, right? It is usually manual labor and you're reaping the benefits, but your body's taking a little bit of a beating. Whereas I feel like being a landlord, renting is more of a white collar job where it's like you got to show up every now and then and actually do something, but for the most part, you're just letting it flow in.
True. And more than likely, you're hiring a property manager.
Which is going to eat up half your costs anyway, but convenience, right? People want to pay for convenience.
Correct.
And you may be an investor, and when I say investor, I mean landlord, who is not handy, or maybe you don't even live in the same area, right? We talked about that last week. You don't want to have a pipe burst in your property and you live 3 hours away.
Hey, Jess, can you drive over there for me? Take a look at that. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, I could.
And how many times is she going to do that for me for free?
Right. Exactly.
I might get one. I ain't
One,
getting two.
maybe two if it's not in the same year, but
Mm,
what are the chances, right? I actually really like the hybrid approach, which is what I recommend to some of my investors. Flip some, rent some, right? So, like one of the ones that one of my investors is looking at right now, after he flips this, if he were to sell it, right, after he renovates, if he flips it, if he sells it, he could easily go buy 2 to 3 more and plan to hold those because this after repair value is going to be it's going to be nice. He made a good choice.
mm. They they say in real estate overall, if you're going to engage, if this is going to be your life, if this is your career, I'm a real estate person, then you have to be willing to do it all. I mean, to
Yeah.
some degree. I mean, you have to be committed to saying, I'm willing to do it all. So if that means I have to wholesale a deal, if I have to flip a house, if I have to buy and hold, I think you flip homes to accumulate money so then you can buy and hold.
Hmm.
I think that's really kind of the goal. At the end of the day, it's monopoly.
Oh yeah.
You want to accumulate properties that you hold, that you buy and hold and own. You want them, flexible in nature to buy them off. I ran this numbers, and the numbers might be a little bit off, but roughly, if you took out $60,000, cash out refinance 60,000. Let's say you have a free and clear property, and
Okay.
you took out $60,000. You could pay off $60,000 with $1,200 a month for 5 years. towards your principal, right? So
Towards the
I'm not
principal.
talking tax and insurance. So in theory, when you're talking about rents are 2,100 a month, and all you need is $1,200, and you could literally use that house as an ATM machine every 5 years. That is something that I think gets lost in the. Once again, it's there's no income taxes because it's viewed as a loan, so you don't have to pay any taxes on it, and you
Right.
could get $60,000 out every 5 years.
Well, even sooner, depending on how your neighbors do with their sales and paying their mortgages, you know?
I mean, depending on how much money you're going to put towards your mortgage, right? But if you set
Right.
up, hey, I'm going to do a $60,000 loan, and I'm just, and I'm going to put $1,200 a month towards the principal, you would have that paid off in 5 years. So if you were, 40 years old, let's fast forward. Let's just say you're 50 years old, right?
Okay.
$60,000 when you're 50,
Yep.
$60,000 when you're 55,
Mhm.
60 when you're 60, 60 when you're 65, and let's say you retire at 70, and you're like, you know what, at that point, once you pay it off again for the fifth time, or let's say really for the sixth time, you've paid it off 5 times doing this, you paid it off one time just initially to get to that point,
So we're at
you
300.
$300,000
Yep. $300,000.
in a 20-year span. So you've just given yourself what do 300,000 divided by 20 years. What do you get?
15 15,000.
So you literally have given yourself $15,000 raise per year.
Yeah, the companies out here aren't doing that now.
Facts. And what have you done with that money? What have you physically done with that $300,000? Besides a trip here and there, besides kids' tuition, school. What have you done for yourself? What investment have you done? Take that 300,000 and this is the game of money. Can we multiply it? Can we double it? If I
Oh,
gave you
yeah.
$300,000, can you make it to 600,000? What would you have done? I mean, because that's a down payment, right? If I gave you $60,000, you have a down payment for at least a $250,000 house.
Right. One.
One, just one.
One. Yep.
So you could have, hey, I bought, every 5 years I buy a new property. So you could say, hey, I got 5 new properties now. In 20-year spans, I ended up getting 5. Now, if you connect the dots with the 4-unit and you got the 4-unit, you got the 2-unit and the single family from earlier in the show, and now you got 8 properties.
And we haven't even talked about the tax benefits that all brings,
100%.
you know?
The write-offs.
Yeah. Because what you're gonna do, friends, is more than likely you're gonna put these homes in the name of an LLC. You're not gonna hold them in your personal name, you'll hold them in the name of an LLC. You can call it a holding company, you can call it a property management company. Honestly, you should create 3 companies, but that's a different show as well.
I think we're going to have to do part 2 to this because I know I want to answer some of these questions.
And I have so many notes. I really love that this is the topic you picked. So when it was story time in the beginning, I was like, we're gonna have to do part 2 because I have so many things to say.
We're gonna have to do part 2. This is a part 2 next Wednesday. Wisdom with Jess. We'll have to do
Can
part
you
2
say
because
it right? Can you get it right? You have to get this right. Come on.
Wednesday wisdom with Jess. Is that it?
Wednesday wisdom with Just Ford.
Okay, Wednesday. It's a tongue twister.
It's not.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Oh my goodness.
You got that one.
Yeah. Well, I practiced. You know how many times I said that? Wednesday wisdom with Jess Ford. There we go.
All right.
There
There.
you go.
There.
We're
You'll be
working.
better. You'll be better next week.
Practice. Everything takes practice. All right, we're going to answer your questions. Appreciate everyone listening today. Over 300 people are listening. Really appreciate that. We got a couple loves out there, so really thank you to that. Make sure you give this a thumbs up wherever you are. If you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, if this is the type of information that you want to hear about, then make sure you give this a thumbs up. Make sure you share this with friends and family, because I still get people calling me as I look at my phone. People are calling me, from 12 to 1 o'clock Central Time. I'm like, dang, you don't know about the show yet? You haven't heard
Yeah,
about the show?
I'm guilty of that on
So
different days.
it's all good. It's all good. They're like, oh, is he doing something? What is he doing?
I'm like,
All right.
he'll see the message when he's done.
All right. How do you decide between short-term and long-term rental strategies?
Ooh, I like that question a whole lot. Um, Mike, it really depends on you as an investor, like your tolerance. Um, Short-term rentals are good, right? And they can generate significantly higher income, um, higher monthly revenue, I would say, in a short period of time. And it exposes you to different kind of risk, right? It depends on what kind of short-term rental. If you're talking about your Airbnb, your Verbo, or are you talking about like something a little more controlled, like maybe only leasing to companies that look for housing for like travel nurses, right? Just it kind of depends. And then long-term rental, um, what do you want to deal with? Do you want to hire that property management company? Do you want to hold it? It really depends on your risk tolerance.
I agree. We'll move on with that one. That's a tough one. What's the first step for someone new to BRRRR?
I love that you love saying that.
It's amazing. I love acronyms. I always like acronyms. So, I gravitate when I see an acronym like, oh, that's a new one.
So I think this is one of those questions where you and I always arrive at the same answer, but we take different paths. What do
Love
you
it.
think?
What's the first step to someone new to BRRRR? Well, obviously it starts with B, and B is buying. So what are you buying? So the first step is really kind of deciding what are you into as far as what are you interested in buying. What is something that you wanted to do, what makes sense, what is the market that you're in. I think every town, every city, every state is a little bit different. And so, what is available to you is a difference. So I think the first thing is determining what to buy, because that's the first part of BRRRR is buying. And then once we decide on what we want to buy, how are we going to buy it? So what are our finances as far as getting pre-approved for a mortgage? Obviously you can come to Epic Mortgage. I think this brings up a topic I wanted to bring about, and in something that I'll say a little bit now, but we'll talk about it the next show, is the concept of hard money lenders.
Mm,
There was a concept, 10, yeah, probably 10 years ago. So it wasn't that long ago where, I got to go to a hard money lender to do BRRRR. I have to go to a hard money lender to do investment properties. And one of the issues that kind of came about was, traditional lenders like ourselves, I would viewed Epic Mortgage and others, traditional lenders, we really had a lack of customers. There's not enough buyers on the traditional plan for us to really stay in business, to stay alive and active. And so what we've done is we have adopted that hard money lending options. We have basically consumed them and said, hey, we're going to handle this. We're going to take it over. It used to be a bunch of guys that are not licensed. They don't they're not subscribed to the NMLS, doing this hard money loan situation. And now you're seeing traditional lenders do it. And so I think financing is critical, that you need to get financing, but you don't need to go to some Clear Capital Inc. and some guy that's not licensed. You can go to a licensed loan officer that can handle BRRRR methods. But I'll save more for that for later. But is that where you were going with it, or did you want to go different?
that definitely would have been my step 2 or 1B. The first one is decide if you're really emotionally and mentally prepared for it. Do you have the capacity? Because that's one thing that I find a lot of new investors don't do, and then they want to quit in the middle and they're broke.
Mm,
So like it's a commitment.
yeah, it's tough. Dennis writes, can house hacking really work in high price markets today? Yeah, I mean, I think it's the only real way, Dennis, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're going to buy, you got to buy as a primary residence. Now, we have to be careful. We've talked about this maybe a couple episodes ago about, fraud and occupancy fraud, which is the number one fraud situation that's going on in the mortgage space. So it has to make sense. I mean, if you have an existing home right now and you want to buy another house, I got a guy right now in the south suburbs, and he wants to buy in the western suburbs. He wants to buy about 15 minutes away from me. And I said, is it a bigger house? I went through it. It just has to make sense. And I was like, hey, you know what? This does make sense that you would buy, it's a better neighborhood. It would make sense that you're moving up here to buy. I can do this as a primary. And that's what I told him. And, but I'm cautious on it because he already has an existing home. And I'm like, and it's like, and who are you? You're self-employed. And how did you meet me? Okay. All right. I got to map it out because I want to make sure I'm doing the right things.
Right. So it can work. It just kind of depends on your flexibility as a buyer.
No doubt. How do you know when a property is a good BRRRR candidate? You're gonna hear it. You just gonna have to
I know
hear it.
it makes me giggle. Okay. So we have to look at, all right, so it's a strategy, right? And it's going to depend on your capital, your availability, your time commitment, your risk tolerance. You guys keep hearing me say risk tolerance today because it is extremely important when we're looking at investing. The area, right? Where, right?
Location.
Yeah, location is extremely important. There was this I want to say like maybe 2 3 years ago, there was a show on Netflix, it was a housing show, and it was about these two guys essentially who came into Detroit, and they would flip a house, and just as they were getting done they moved to another house, but they would sleep in them because they were two guys from not around here, right? They're different part of the country. They didn't know what they were buying into, and they were purchasing houses in not great areas, so they slept in them so that nobody would come steal in the middle of the night, right?
Sure.
That's not, who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that, right? So be very mindful of the areas you're buying in. Do your research, look at the values around you, look at your crime reports. To now we got to look to see if a data center is going to pop up, but you just got to do your research on the area. Historical data is the best thing you can look at. Don't always worry about the right now. Look at the historical data. I would say look for trends over what, Dante, like 10, 12 years?
I think
You need
10
to
to 20
10 to 20. Yeah, because everything comes
cycles.
full circle, right?
Mhm.
It's everything's a cycle. Um, if an area is nice right now and it wasn't 20 years ago, guess what it's gonna be in another few years, right? Everything's
Yeah,
a cycle.
I like that. And then, how do you finance your first house hack without much capital?
Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you about one of my least favorite things, but you know what? I tell you, I nope. With FHA specifically, it's not bad. So the idea is that you use an FHA loan and get at minimum a 2 unit property, right? Let's say you feel like maybe 4 is overwhelming. Okay, get a 2 unit property, and the amount of rent you're going to charge on that second unit should cover your mortgage and maybe leave you a little bit of a profit. Um, FHA down payments, right, are only 3.5%. And Dante and I have a ton of different down payment assistance programs. Um, Conventional, but FHA, there are so many options. Um, but specifically, what you really want to look for is like try to find one of those down payment assistance programs that does not create a second mortgage or does not lock you into having to live in the house or own the house or not be able to refinance the house for 10 to 20 years. You have to be very, very cautious of down payment assistance programs. And it's simply about reading. Give me the highlights. Tell your loan officer, give you the highlights. Your realtor, if your realtor is pitching you a down payment assistance program and they don't know the rules, go to your loan officer for sure.
No doubt.
But yeah, you could essentially just knock out your down payment and only worry about closing costs. So depending on the amount of your purchase price, that wouldn't be as much capital as it would be if you had to pay the down payment as well.
Facts. What's your advice for managing multiple rental properties?
Pray on it.
Property
Um,
manager?
right. Yeah. Property manager.
Yeah, I got a buddy, Joe. Shout out to Joe Costello out there. I know he's never going to listen to this. He's not on the internet, but he's a property manager, and I mean he was managing at one time over 200 properties for customers, and so a good property manager like him, he was able to fix things, deal with the customers, and really the key to any rental is the right tenant.
Hmm.
And the best way to really know the best tenants is to go see where they live, and meet them where they are, because
Right.
if they live a certain way, then that's going to travel with them, and that's a no so that's usually the best thing.
Yeah. And property managers get a bad rep. Um, but sift through it. Look for the good ones. Look for the ones that would run your properties the way you want them run. It's
I
your
like
money.
that. Facts. How do you evaluate risk versus reward in real estate deals?
This one comes down to the numbers. So for instance, Anita, we were talking about after repair value. After repair value. Um, that is a risk or reward calculation. Um, so if you're thinking about risk as in like maybe losing your shirt, it goes back to doing your research on the area. Be very mindful of where you're buying. I'm sure you know around your metro area what cities or townships hold their property value pretty well and which ones kind of nosedive when the economy is on a downward spiral. So again, it goes back to the trends. It goes back to looking at the maps and the numbers. Um, if any of you are wondering, just for it, where do I get that information? Inbox me on the Facebook or Instagram, and I will send you a couple links and give you a few pointers on what to look for.
Yeah, everything's subjective. So it the best thing is to make a decision that's going to work for you, because subjective basically means if I see an opportunity where the cash flow is $1,000, that might be a great idea for me, but that may not be a great idea for Jess.
Right.
She might be like, no, thank you. I need more. Or, I'm looking at it like, what do you mean? Look at this and look at that. But, so it's very subjective. You have to have a goal in mind. You have to have a strategy in place. And if it hits the boxes, if it checks the boxes, then roll with it. We're going to try to get wrap up appreciate everyone. These are so many questions today. Appreciate everyone. And we're definitely going to have a part 2 on this, because this was really good. Can someone start investing part-time while working a full-time job? Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's kind of the point. The idea is that this becomes passive income. You're never going to be able to be completely hands off with investment properties unless you'll get maybe 95% hands off if you have a property management company, because in the end you are the owner and you don't have to physically do anything, but you do need to make decisions. Um, but yeah, the whole point is for it to be passive and you go work over here and let the houses make you money over here. I don't know why I did that with my hands. It felt weird.
Man, man,
Felt very Ron Burgundy.
man, that was like, wow. How do you find motivated sellers in a competitive market? That's a good question. You want to tackle that?
So okay, I have my thoughts. Go ahead. I gotta pull my words together. I need to
Yeah,
pull my
I
words
was just
together.
gonna say, within your community, it's conversations. You're talking, you're talking to people, at church, I see a lot of opportunities that come to people from a community, community events, which would be church or social gatherings where information is being disseminated, and conversations are being had about, hey, this is my situation, or I got a job relocation, or my mom passed away. These are the types of things like. Even to me, I have unfortunately a very good neighbor. He was crazy, but he was a very good neighbor of mine, and he passed away on Sunday, and three houses down. And to some degree, and obviously I'm saddened by his loss, but that's an opportunity for somebody. Death will bring an opportunity where his wife probably she hasn't been home in several days. She's staying with her daughter or whatever, and so it's like that house might be on the market for sale, and maybe she's looking for a quick sale. That could be an opportunity where someone's motivated because maybe she hasn't been home because she can't imagine being in that house without him. These are sad conversations, but this is reality.
That's
And
reality.
so these are opportunities based on someone's unfortunate situation that you could take advantage of and be able to execute something where it's like, man, how did you get that house? You got that house, and man, I haven't been able to find anything, because once it hits the market on, the MLS, it's open sesame for anyone. But
Right.
if you can get to it before someone knows about it, that's a come up, and that's what we do. So really talking within your community, telling people what you're wanting, what you're looking for, are the best ways to really take advantage of a situation.
Yeah. David, that feels like a realtor question or an investor question. So if you are either of those, I would also suggest finding referral partners such as attorneys, um, CPAs, divorce attorneys specifically,
Estate.
estate attorneys, right? Um, try to shop in that realm. And I say CPAs because those are the people who are working with, everyone's finances. And sometimes they are going to advise their clients to sell or buy or swap out.
Just Dante, make real estate investing exciting. Great show. Thanks, Adam.
Huzzah!
Appreciate that. What up, though? Got the what up show. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
Detroit. What up, though?
Thanks for breaking down complex strategy so simply. Appreciate that, David. Marissa, she was listening.
We are funny.
Man, she
I make
probably
myself
laughed.
giggle.
Yeah, she's probably laughing at me, but it's all good. It's all good. That's more guy. Oh, okay, that was you, Jess
That was
Ford.
me.
Brr, 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 brr. Great show. Appreciate that, Marissa. Good to know. Appreciate that. Is that caramel? Is
Carmela.
that what it was?
Karma.
Caramel. Well, I like
Wait, Kara.
caramel. I like caramel.
Kara.
Yeah. So awesome. No, we'll finish on that note. No, appreciate the show. We went a little bit longer than expected, but you guys brought the fire with a bunch of great questions. Jess, I think we got to do this part 2.
Yeah, let's do part two. Maybe on part two, my lighting will be better as well because who is doing that Casper thing again? Yeah, part two next Wednesday. Let's do it. Let's talk more about investing, and we can talk about strategy. We'll break down these three different types
Yes.
of investment moves to make. Talk about some pros and cons. So come back next week, peeps.
Do you remember the TV show Amen? Are
Yes,
you okay? Sherman Hemsley, right? You remember that
yes.
song "Shine on Me"?
Ha ha ha! You're so funny. He's a
Man,
funny man.
man, you make me.
He's a funny guy.
Hey, you have an excellent closing today. Appreciate you as
Yay,
always.
closing in 2 hours. Excellent. Very
Yes.
excited for my first time home buyers.
Yes. So super cool for you. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you everyone for listening today. We'll be back next week. I think if I look at my schedule, we got Randall Avery, which is super exciting. We got the financial advisor. I got some questions for him now on Monday. I think Vince is back on Tuesday. I think we got a busy week. I think we got John Andrade coming on board next week. So busy week next week. And then we got, of course, Wednesday Wisdom with Jess Ford on Wednesday. So
Yay.
that will be super cool. So great
You
week
did.
next week. Make sure you guys check it out. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, guys.